to just jump in. Let's do it. Basic idea here is that we've got a sort of Tails Indie focused version of Sultai. I haven't played much Sultai. I'm just sort of borrowing from a bunch of lists I've seen. But I started with Alexander Gordon Brown's Sultai list. I trust his deck building a lot. He's done excellently in Standard with Sultai, and I think understands the deck in Historic pretty well. So, Alexander really likes playing Tails End. He had some main deck Ether Gusts, which I don't love. I've been seeing a lot of auras and blue-white control today when I've been looking over what people have been hitting in the queues so far. I expect also to see a lot of blue-white control closer to the end of the event because it's a slow deck to play. And so I don't really want the main deck Gusts. I'd rather have a couple more Eliminates to catch Narsets. We've got Bloodchief's Thirst, which is a bit more flexible than Fatal Push in the initial games. And yeah, third Graces in the sideboard, really just for the mirror, which I think still might be the most common overall deck to see. There aren't a lot of other matchups where I love Graces, but it's obviously very, very good in the mirror. It's possible I want this to be a third Narset instead, but I feel like in the mirror we're going to be battling successfully and taking people's Narsets away a lot. So anyway, let's see how this goes. There's only so much you can do with only so much you can do to prep. You never know what you're going to hit, and you just try to play well with what you got. If the one main deck casualties is an out to stuff like 9 Lives, along with Maelstrom Pulse, also really good against the Paradox Engine decks, which scare me a bit. Can be good against Nissa, can be good against Jund with Trail of Crumbs. But again, we're still playing to win most of our games with Uros and such. Alright, these hands have been terrible. I think I have to keep the second one. I think mulling to 5 with Sultai, a deck that really relies on hitting land drops, is quite bad. I'm going to ditch Extinction Event here. It's the card that's dead against the highest percentage of other decks we face. Yeah, we're just going to hope to rip a Black Source. We can have the early Thoughtseize. Growth Spiral's great, Uro's great. All those things are pretty good. I have thought about trying to throw some Explorers into this deck just because it's so good to have Growth Spiral compared to not having Growth Spiral. If I had a Black Source now, I can just go Thoughtseize into Nissa. That could be pretty good. Opponent's going to Thoughtseize my Nissa, though, it looks like. Going to be a rough game, especially if they have Uro available to them. Not a lot you can do in a mirror like this. Ooh, Thoughtseize is my Thoughtseize. So maybe they have another Thoughtseize. Maybe they've got a Tails End or something. Jawari Ruins. Okay. I think I play this Forest to keep them a little bit of suspense about what I just drew. If they have Uro here, it's going to be tough. This is an interesting inclusion in Sultai. I can't say I like it very much. The deck already plays enough tap lands that cycle. But, hey, maybe the hands where I have like 6 lands and a Tail's End are more keepable if one of those lands is a Ruins. Okay, I drew my own Uro, which I'm pretty excited about. If we can hit a Thoughtseize, a Black Source off of this, that would be amazing. Or not. Alright, well. We're also 2 Black Sources away from Bloodchief Thirsting and Nissa. But if my opponent goes Nissa, I can draw Black Source, go Nissa, Bloodchief's Thirst, their Nissa. Maybe that gets us out of this. And if they don't have a Nissa and they're just kind of sitting there with a handful of removal or whatever, the game's far from over. The whole time yours can sometimes be pretty clunky. Okay, so Nissa's gone. Slowly inching our way towards having Uro. And if we get that second Black Source, we can Bloodchief's Thirst our opponent's Uro. If they take like my Thoughtseize here, I'm going to be pretty certain they have a Tail's End. But I still wouldn't mind it because it would at least guarantee me casting a spell next turn, forcing them to do something, and then having Uro come out later. We can also just rip Eliminate. This is really quite bad, unfortunately. So yeah, we're probably Dobbs here. I expect their hands full of Nissas and they just need to hit that land. There's the land. So If I had a swamp, I can kill a couple Nissa lands for a little while, but against the opponent's Uro, I don't think we're getting there, so I assume we're going to move on to day 2 here before too long. Or day 2, game 2. This is day 2, and we may be moving off of it before too long. I do like our plan for the mirror, though, so let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's just never ever winning that game, nothing to do about it. No agency. Okay, so I like Narset in the mirror, I like Tails End, I like Shark Typhoon, I like Scavenging Ooze, I like Krasis. Cards I don't like as much are Bloodchief's Thirst, it's kind of slow and clunky. Maelstrom Pulse, Extinction Event. Kind of not as interested in all 4 Uros here. It is important to like have one in the game sometime, but it's really bad to have like a multi-Uro draw against, say, an opposing Narset. Something else I don't love in the mirror is Ether Gust. I think this card is, obviously it's good at deflecting Nissas and Uros, but I have 4 copies of Tails End, and just deflecting a Nissa that's going to come back the next turn is kind of awkward. I kind of wanted to set permanent answers to their stuff. The question is what the last card we cut. Do I cut Eliminate? Eliminate's mostly here to stop Narset. It also does hit a resolved Uro, though, which none of the other cards in my list currently do, besides, I guess, Casualties of War. I could consider maybe not having the full fork Shark Typhoon. Yeah, it's tricky. Pretty sure I like 4 Nissa, 3 Krasis. I like being able to fight over Narset. Maybe just 1 Ooze. Maybe 2 Ooze is more like for the Jund matchup, so I can play 1 here. I am on the play, so I want to be on full 29 lands here, I think. Could go down the Casualties. It could be this card is actually kind of really awkward post-board if the opponent's bringing like Ether Gust. Like, how often am I going to hit a Nissa with this? But I think I go down a Shark Typhoon. That might be wrong. But 3 Krasis, 3 Typhoon is still slightly better top end than a lot of the Sultai decks are playing 2 Krasis. We have a few different cards that can break the mirror in different ways. Just hoping we get some lands for them. Not this again. Alright, this is fine. It's pretty good, actually. I'm going to keep this, and the question is, do I dump Nissa, or do I dump, like, Spiral or something? One of the most important things to do in the mirror is to be able to deflect Narset. And I think I'm just going to dump Nissa so that my hand has the best chance of doing that. Being a card down in a mirror that's often defined by how big your Hybrid Krasis and Sharks are is rough, but is what it is. Getting all the bad draws out of the way early in the day. Alright, Thoughtseize looking pretty good here. I think I'd rather do this than Spiral here. If my opponent has a Thoughtseize, it's just quite bad for me. Alright, we're seeing Jawari Disruption, Growth Spiral, Hydroid, Krasis, Nissa. So, question is, do I take Spiral or do I take Krasis? Krasis is the card I'm most scared of. Nissa we can Tails End at the moment. Spiral just slows them down a lot. I think I'd rather slow them down here. Let's take Spiral. That might be awful. Maybe that we're going to like really regret giving this Krasis later, but I like the idea of them having some really awkward, bad turns here. Of course, we're also having some awkward turns a little bit. Getting Thoughtseized. Yep. All right, so in response to that, we will just Spiral. Was really hoping to hit a land there. Basic idea is I think their best take was probably Spiral if we didn't use Spiral there. So now they can see that we've got answers to Nissa for days. And Narset and Uro. We'll be using the first Tails End pretty liberally with 2 of them in hand. So here we need to hit land drops. There's not a lot we can do to get like a lot of card advantage early in the mirror games here. Just really looking to hit land drops, maybe some more Shark Typhoons. Maybe boarding out of that card was bad. Sometimes I also wonder if playing Sultai is like a 30 land 2 explore deck. It feels like so many of the hands you lose with are the ones where you just don't hit your 4th and 5th land drops. And if you can do that with the deck, you're pretty much good to go. Something to experiment with in Historic after this tournament, maybe. Not that I love playing Sultai, but hey, if we can do something a little different with it and win a lot of games in the process, it's nice. Okay, but it takes Typhoon. That's an interesting choice. Kind of makes sense, I guess. Not going to crack this passage. There we go. Found second passage. Question is, do I just jam Krasis now? I think the answer is no. Krasis is pretty much all I have going for me at the moment. So I'm going to hope they don't rip another Thoughtseize immediately. I basically got Tails in to take out most of the scary stuff they could play. If they jam Krasis for like 2, I don't care. They do have Castle Lochthwain, which is dangerous. Person who draws this card in the mirror is also going to be favored a lot of the time. In the slower post-board games like this. Be nice if I could fit in 2, but I am the person who just drew a 3 Growth Spiral, no blue source hand, and had to mulligan it, so maybe I shouldn't be so eager for that. And yeah, I think I just let them have this Krasis here. Basically, I have to take hits from this for a little while, hope that they don't have like great threats, and hope that I keep ripping land drops so that I can play my Krasis as a bigger Krasis later. Well, the fact that they're always threatening this is a little rough. And yeah, the way things have turned out, I wish I had taken the Krasis, I think. We'll see. Tail's End is nice. It's nice that it can counter the Nissa untaps, so it's not completely useless if they resolve one. But on the play, these are great because you can often get on board first. You know, playing Nissa and holding one of these up is amazing. Our opponent has gotten on the board first against us, and so the Tail's Ends just look awkward. Our entire hand is still known information, so we're not going to be able to bluff a shark or anything. If they jam another Krasis, my best bet I think is to try stifling the card draw. Like, so I have something to do this turn, and then I hope to rip a land, slam my Krasis, maybe draw Casualties of War, so they could get me out of this. Castle Lochthwain's just like horrifyingly dangerous to us now. Alright, well I will continue to hit land drops. There's a question of, do I just want to jam this Krasis, hope to rip like Casualties or something, and I don't think so. Oh, the record shouldn't be up. I just realized the record is up. Anyway, so do I just keep passing? They've got a Lochthwain up. It's going to be so terrible if they draw another Thoughtseize. I don't have a lot of answers to Nissa, though. I didn't board in my Gust, and now not boarding the Gust, of course, seems like idiotic. Let's do this. Let's get my second black source. They got Jawari Disruption. I could just jam this as a 2-2, honest. Maybe that's the best thing to do, honestly. Like, stop there beating a little bit. Have Tails End up still. Definitely frustrating. But I feel like I want to have some ability to punish them for Lochthwaining. No, I think I wait. I think it's worth trying to spend one more turn to hit another land and make this Krasis a little bigger than their Krasis. You're going to draw, take 6. Doesn't really matter, though. Yeah, Castle Lochthwain's a Mirror Breaker, and we're probably going to die. Okay, this is Uro, we're countering it. Gotta use these Tails Ends sometime. Best draw on my deck at this point is probably Castle Lochthwain, Shark Typhoon being a close second. Basically, this is definitely going to come back later, but we need to actually, you know, take some game actions at some point. Make sure the opponent doesn't just get to develop however they do, however they want to. Okay, So if we draw another land, I think I'm just going to jam a 4/4 Krasis. And then Nissa will sneak down, but we've got outs to that. All right, Nissa. Okay, that was a very good draw, actually. So we're going to try for this now. And they've got Jawari Disruption. They may have other counter spells. If they have like a Gust for this, we're just going to lose, and that's that. But I'm going to hope that their draws were not that. We get to slam Nissa, have Breeding Pool up for Tail's End, stop their Nissa, stop their Uro. Even have the spare mana to pay for Jawari Disruption, which is really nice. They can't make a shark that's of any significant size here. As far as lands to animate, I think I'd rather just do the Swamp here than anything else. We only really need double black for casualties, exactly. Alright, if we had anything, and now, you know, we get to punish them a little bit for taking that much damage off their Castle Lochthwain. And for Jawari Disruption being, I mean, if this were just a land, it would be worse, I guess, but still seems pretty awkward to me. Alright, I got a Shark for 1 or something. Nope, just cycles a Triome. Can even counter that, but I don't want to. Let's save this for Nissa. And because I have a Krasis in my hand, even if they can, like, squeeze out a Nissa, we're going to be able to kind of recover here a little bit, maybe. I mean, they have 6 cards in hand, so I still feel like I'm behind, but I can see light at the end of the tunnel, chat. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. Best thing for them to do here is we have Thoughtseize. Oh, my chat is wishing me luck, and they're just resubscribing and doing all sorts of things, and I can't really thank them live here, which is sad. Wish I could. So opponent knows my whole hand. We gotta remember they know my whole hand. Is this Thoughtseize? I guess Thoughtseize isn't amazing, because whichever thing they take, there's a way for the other thing to punish them pretty badly. Narset, Parter of Veils. Alright, am I countering this? If I counter this, they get Uro. If I don't counter this, they get to stop my Krasis from drawing many cards, except they don't, because I just get to kill Narset. If Narset hits Thoughtseize, they can take... They haven't played a land yet this turn. Do I let them jam Uro? Because I can get a 6/6, 8/8, 10/10, 6/6... 6/6 Krasis, 8/8 Krasis, something like that. I don't have a lot of ways to kill Uro. I think I counter this one. I think I'm just going to have to rely on Krasis to take me home. And now, worst case scenario is they just Uro and then Thoughtseize and I lose, but have to take some chances. Okay, second Narset. That is... So they're really either have a Thoughtseize or they're super digging for one. Oh, no, they're just going to keep Narset alive and make sure my Krasis... Okay, that's smart. So they just had 2 Narsets, huh? That's actually really freaking smart. So I think I just have to jam... So I think my plan here is probably just to jam an enormous Krasis, just ignore Narset completely and just beat my opponent to death. That seems like a pretty good place to be. So I play this, I just make a 7/7 Krasis, knock them to 5, with Krasis being lethal in the air. They can then jam Uro. They can't actually jam Nissa and Uro unless they have another land. So, yeah, I believe we're going for this. There are lots of ways this loses, of course. Many ways the play could turn out poorly, but we're going to give it our best shot here. And yep, just ignoring Narset completely, smashing the opponent. Pow pow. 7/7 Krasis is not trivial to get rid of. So play gets crushed by Fatal Push. But that's about it. So another land untapped would let them go Nissa Uro. I guess they can Nissa Uro anyway, but then their Nissa land is tapped. Let's see what Narset hits for them. Please just hit another Nissa. Please hit something useless. Another Nissa, Growth Spiral will be fine. Just nothing that interacts with the board, I beg of you. Opponent hits Shark Typhoon. That probably keeps them alive. So they're going to jam Nissa. They get to untap a land. They can cycle Typhoon for... Well, this doesn't work unless they can get rid of Krasis, though. Krasis is really large. It's hitting them for 5 through their Krasis. Okay, this Triome doesn't do much. They can play Uro go up to 5, but they're still dead. I guess their best plan here is to cycle Shark for 1, try to hit removal, or just play Uro, try to hit removal. I guess if they still have Fatal Push in their deck, that would do it. Okay, so that gives them a Shark cycle, but they also took 2 damage. That doesn't seem right. Now they're just dead to Krasis for sure. Unless I'm missing something. Anyway, Fetid Pools isn't going to help me, so we're just going to... Charge! Let's kill them. Yeah, they would have to have exactly... I don't actually think there's anything that gets them out of this. I think they're just straight up dead. Yay! Alright, so Nissa bails me out of that game, which was looking kind of impossible, but we slipped through their defenses, including Jawari Disruption. Oh, that game made me want Aether Gust. I mean, what that game made me want was, like, not mulliganing more than anything else. Still kind of into Ooze. Still not that into 4th Arrow. I feel like I'm pretty much on the same set of plays here. I guess Ooze is a nice defense against Narset. I don't know how much removal my opponents can have in. 4 Tails in could be kind of excessive. I mean, it was good there. It counters all their meaningful spells. Casualties might be pretty bad on the draw. It's just slow. Gets punished really badly by Jawari Disruption in particular, which makes me not want the big expensive spells as much. So even though I put this in partly for Sultai, I guess it's more for Paradox Engine. We'll cut casualties, and then I think I just want a Gust or an Ooze. Which of these do I want more? Gust or Ooze? Gust or Ooze, or 4th Typhoon? It's actually probably just 4th Typhoon, huh? No, I actually think I like Gust. Okay, a hand we can keep. I'm pretty happy with this one. We got the... See if the Ooze is the hero of the day or just pretty useless. Can stop an early Narset, which is pretty critical. I guess there's a universe where we might cycle out Fetid Pools later. Let's just go with Breeding Pool. Thrilling game, thrilling game. Opponent gonna get their Spiral out nice and early. Yep. So we could be vulnerable to something like Narset plus Mystical Dispute or Thoughtseize into Narset. I am pretty happy just leaving up Tail's End and Growth Spiral. Okay, so Narset Dispute could happen. We'll see if that happens. We'd be really sad, but we get to at least ooze it. I don't think Dispute's great right now, but, I mean, our opponent just played it and is going to kill us, probably. Unfortunate. Yeah, this is the fun of being on the play, or on the draw in the Sultai Mirror. You just sometimes die. Opponent's got a Nissa, we can't counter. Can't play this Growth Spiral. Can't do much. I guess my best bet is to hope they just don't have the 5th land, because otherwise we're just going to lose immediately to Nissa. So yeah, that's about the size of it now, I think. Here's Ooze. Looking much worse than Aether Gust here, but against turn 3 Narset with Dispute backup, there's not a lot we can do in this game anyway. At least we can hope to draw the Gust now, the 1 Gust we have. Okay, opponent's a Negate, which, yeah. Dispute, very good in the... I mean, it's not great in the mirror. It's like medium in the mirror and pretty bad in everything but the blue-white matchup. Yeah, we're 100% getting Nissa'd, and then... Yeah, I don't actually see how we win. Even if we get Aether Gust, they just get Nissa back again. We can't kill Narset.
We need
they didn't even get a Swamp? That's a weird play. Okay. So we're going to do this, they're going to hold it Negate, and I believe we've just lost. Like, I can't picture any draw that gets us back in the game here. So I will, yep, scoop this one right up. Alright, that was frustrating, but I think this is the best deck for the day. We played against somebody else who was playing the same deck, and they got to be on the play in game 3, and that decided it. Ooze notably was bad there, but obviously their draw was just the absolute giganuts. Alright, see if we can rattle off a nice 7 in a row here. Have not won money in one of these yet. Been pretty lucky in some big tournaments this year, but these arena opens are rough. Okay. Just want to keep some hands. Opponent's on Gigantha, which either means Paradox Engine or Rakdos. Sand's kind of poopy against anything, really. I think we have to mull. Gosh, darn it, chat. Alright, we'll keep this. Dump. Alright, so it is Paradox Engine. Sand probably is not going to do the trick, but you never know. At least we have the 2 Ooze in the sideboard, which I brought in for this matchup. Yeah, I really like the idea of the 30 land to explore version of this deck. I gotta say, the more I play it, the more I just hate every, like... It's so rare that you can even keep a 2-land hand.
We need to become Aaron Gertler tonight.
So rare.
That's the goal.
Alright, so Emery plus Chromatic Sphere is already going to have crazy value. Alright, we got to eliminate, so I can kill Emery. I'm just going to do that now. Hope they don't have a crazy follow-up. Can't let Emery start to draw cards out of the graveyard, because too many of their cards matter. Oh, they have Mind Stone, so I guess we just get Karned here, probably. Yeah, we get Karned, and again, just absolutely nothing we could do against this historic as a format where opening hands can punish you very badly. We have Maelstrom Pulse, so I can kill Karn, I guess. And I kind of need to kill Karn, because if Karn gets another artifact, we're dead. So this lets the opponent slam a Paradox Engine, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Which is hope, I guess, to like rip land into land and get Nissa with Tails End up and hope that somehow works. Kanan! Into Amber Engine. Into Emery. Alright, we've lost this one. Can't win the game from here, I don't think. Alright. So, this is a matchup where stuff like Krasis is really bad. You don't really want to be tapping out against them. Fourth Tails End's great, Narset's great, Wilt is good, Scavenging Oozes are good. Basically, we're just trying to be a 1-for-1 removal deck that eventually grinds them out with Nissa Uro. We're not really trying to do Shark Typhoon stuff as much. Shark Typhoon's also just kind of big and clumsy. Extinction Event's pretty clumsy. Cry is better. Cry hits all of their meaningful creatures. Bloodchief's Thirst is pretty slow. It's nice they can clean up a Planeswalker, but I think our best bet against Planeswalkers is trying to Tails End them. Eliminate versus Fatal Push. Eliminate can hit Emery a little bit easier. Fatal Push is much more efficient against Kinnan and Llanowar Elves. Eliminate, I think, gets the nod just because it also kills Uro. Gust can hit Tamio, Uro, Kinnan, but is like a little bit awkward, especially because they have so many redraws. They can often just draw the card and cast again immediately. Again, really want permanent answers against their deck. Casualties is here specifically for this match, but I'm cutting one Bloodchief's Thirst. And Thoughtseize is interesting. They are an Uro deck, and they are pretty good at like casting a bunch of things and then drawing a bunch of cards in their turn, so that Thoughtseize is like a little less good at catching what you want it to catch. It's possible I could cut like one of these and put in one Shark Typhoon just to have something instant speed to clean up their Planeswalkers. But I also just want my opening hands to be as powerful as possible against them. I think we do this. Someone asked in chat, you'll see this answer on delay in a few minutes, why I'm playing Sultai instead of Mono Black. I think Mono Black just is was a fun deck to try for day one, but kind of is a little bit too weak against specifically Jund is what I'm worried about seeing. Okay, this is exactly the kind of hand we want. Thoughtseize into Uro. Classic Sultai gamer. And definitely a deck to Thoughtseize on turn one. Okay, Llanowar Elves, Kinnan, Chromatic Sphere. So I think the plan here is to take the Elf on 1, the Kinnan on 2. It would be nice if I could spare one of these for Paradox Engine, but I'm not sure I can. I think I just want to stop them from having Paradox Engine before like turn 5, if possible. Yeah, I just want to stop. Yeah, I'm going to take Elf here, then we'll take Kinnan. This also stops them from getting a Planeswalker out super early. And I'm going to start using Fabled Passages here. Don't think so. Let's use again. Snag. Alright, we got double Paradox Engine. That is one way for the deck to lose, is Paradox Engines. Whoops. Frick. Play completely the wrong land, so I can't even Uro unless I rip an untapped land here, because I was not paying enough attention. That serves me right. Serves me right for being an idiot. Okay, they got the Llanowar Elves, so that gives them the Uro. And we have drawn a Fabled Passage, so I'm going to be cycling this Fetid Pools. This is really bad. Really, really bad. Opponent gets a Mind Stone into Uro. Someone has asked me if the games that I'm scooping earlier are worth playing out for the clock damage, and the answer is no. The clock damage is not being dealt to my opponent. The clock damage is absolutely being dealt to me in these games, because I don't want to sit here playing a game that I'm losing. It's really, really not worth the like 1% chance or whatever that it actually helps you in the long run. Value your time, chat. Value your time. Alright, so we'll cycle this. Uro is not coming out just yet. Okay, so plan here is to go Passage. Got a Forest in hand. I would like to have access to... I'm going to play Uro first. I would like to, I could draw Thoughtseize and want black off the passage, or I could draw Tails End and want blue off the passage. Alright. Okay, so we're going to get Nissa with Tails End back up next turn. Question is, do we just let the opponent resolve Paradox Engine so I don't have to use my Tails End? They have a second one. So I believe we do just let them resolve this, and we're going to try and kill them with Nissa here. Okay. So we'll get that second black source that we're going to need for casualties. If I do hit casualties next turn, I'll just play it, probably instead of Nissa. Do that. We also have Uro plus Tails End next turn. Is that better than Nissa? Opponent's not about to cast Uro. No, I should cast Nissa first. So opponent's got access to a lot of mana, but what they don't have a lot of, hopefully, is like good action spells.
Aaron Girdler tonight, chat. That's the goal.
Kinnan, Bonder, Prodigy coming down. Do I counter this? They don't get... So they do get Uro. So if they have this, they can start jamming, like, Kinnan flips, which is very bad, because if they hit Emery, I'm dead. They do get Uro into play if I counter this, because they can sack Mind Stone to draw a card. Yeah, I feel like I do have to counter this. We're going to have to give them the... We can also counter a Paradox Engine activation, which is pretty funny, but I think we just have to counter Kinnan here. Uro at least doesn't give them access to another scary spell this turn, and if they do have to sack Mind Stone, that makes Paradox Engine much weaker. A little sad we couldn't get an ooze in time. So now we're looking for Casualties of War. We're looking for... I guess I don't have Ether Gust in. We're looking for Eliminate. We're looking for the Bloodchief's Thirst. Okay. Maelstrom Pulse is really, really good. They do have another Paradox Engine in hand, so I believe we're just going to kill the Uro here and try to just kill them. I guess I could play out my Uro first. That seems more reasonable to do. Yeah, so Uro comes out. Doesn't really matter what we exile here. Am I putting this into play? I don't actually think I am. I think we just go ahead, pulse their Uro. Untap a forest. Wait, what happened to my Uro? Why did this not enter the battlefield? Am I crazy? Oh, God. I'm playing like absolute garbage. I can't wait for chat to start reacting to that in 2 minutes. Yeesh. I do not deserve to win this game, chat. I literally never play with Maelstrom Pulse in my Sultai or 4-color decks. I don't like the card very much, and now you can see the fruits of that, which is that I'm just going to kill both of our Uros. Absolutely deserve to go 0-2 today. That was just scuzz. Well, it's mostly, the problem here was not me not knowing what Maelstrom Pulse does. I mean, that is a problem. The main problem was me just not knowing, playing a deck that I hadn't had any practice with. I think I just have to jam through the Gigantha here. Question is, do I play the other Nissa? That gives me 9 damage, 6 if they block with Llanowar. I guess I actually just cast another Uro this turn if I do the Nissa, so I should probably do that. I think ultimating Nissa is not gonna be that likely a thing to happen. So we'll do this. We'll untap one of the lands. And then we'll cast Nissa, untap another land, and we get to cast Uro after that. God, chat. I'm so tilted. I'm so tilted. Alright, do this. Keep the new Nissa. Throw a... Yeah, I think I'm just going to hope my opponent doesn't have anything terribly relevant next turn. I'm just going to smash them, jam Uro, and hope that's enough. It might be enough, because our deck is broken as heck, but I'm super embarrassed by everything. Just everything is embarrassing. Chat's now beginning to whoops, so I can see that they've now found what happened. Alright, well at least I'm probably not going to forget what Maelstrom Pulse does for the rest of the tournament, hopefully. Y'all all seeing the pro level play here. I will put this into play now, because I'm kind of running low on lands. So we can beat an Emery. Basically, we beat most things. Chat being helpful in punting me. Alright, cool. So, one, despite that, so... I mean, maybe it's just value because now our opponent's tilted. Maybe we have successfully tilted the opponent a little bit. Gosh. Whew. Okay. Alright, so the thing that's the scariest thing is turn 2 Emery. Our deck does not have a lot of answers to turn 2 Emery besides, I guess, eliminate. I think basically down to keep the list the same. Yeah, it felt good. It felt good. Gust seems... Maybe Gust is better than... Maybe I just cut Pulse. No, I'm not cutting Pulse. And somebody is speculating in chat that I would make them play it out if I wasn't streaming, and nope, I'm even less likely to make them play them out if it's not streaming or in a big tournament or anything. I just value my time too much to sit there for the 1% chance. Maybe Casualties is just slow on the draw? Why am I playing this card? Why am I playing this card? Gust might be better than Bloodchief's Thirst. Yeah, with Quad Tails End, Gust probably is a bit better than Bloodchief's Thirst. Let's try that. Alright, so... aside from the little Maelstrom Pulse incident, that game did go the way I want the games to go against this deck. This hand is definitely a keeper. Love being able to stop the Emery. Badoo, badoo, badoo. Okay, Emery, Gust, Sphere. Goodbye, Emery. Gust is annoying, but if they don't have Kinnan immediately, we're in reasonable shape. Llanowar Elves is fine. Growth Spiral. Just hang on to that one. So we've got most of their scariest plays shut down. Mindstone's fine. Karn's the big concern now. But goal here is just to accumulate answers. Opponent's Ether Gust frightens me not at all. Okay, so Zagoth Triome could get cycled. I'm going to put this one down tapped. So the problem with the double sphere, of course, is they have some ability to like try and rip a good card. So the question is it worth just going Triome and wait with Gust in hand, or should I try and jam Uro now, knowing that they could Gust it? I think it's worth going for Uro now. If they do Gust it, next turn I have Nissa plus Gust. Sick. Alright, that worked. Let's see if we get the untapped land off of this, so I can hold up Gust still. Tail's End. Alright, so opponent's gonna have to get real lucky to kill us next turn. We'll just jam the other Triome now. Cracking Spheres now doesn't make a ton of sense. Because you could just draw Kinnan, right? Why are we doing this now? Huh. Okay. Alright, so Chromatic Sphere, good. Kinnan into Paradox Engine would have been a real tilter, but they're just putting Gigantha in hand. That's good news. That's very good news. So I think I'm just sitting here now. No need to run out Nissa into a bunch of... into Ether Gust into my opponent having untapped mana. Let's see what's going on with the opponent over there. Gigantha is a pretty funny Ether Gust target, I gotta say. We will definitely be gusting that one. Shoo. Just because it blocks Nissa lands and actually hits pretty hard. Opponent just puts that right to the bottom. Also tempts them to tap out for an Emery or a Kinnan. Nope. Are they not holding up Gust? No, they have a land drop? They have a Sphere. Okay, opponent. That was... feels like a little bit early to give up on ever using Gust there, but what do I know? What do I know, chat? Is there any point to cycling Fetid Pools now? I could rip Thoughtseize, I guess? Could rip Thoughtseize. But for all I know, they could be playing like Mystical Dispute or something. I'll wait. Tamiyo, Collector of Tales. How about we don't do that? Gosh, Tail's End is real sweet in this format right now. Like, I mean, I'm using it to boost my own pile of legends, but it is fun to punish people for playing piles of legends. Opponent gonna Ether Gust their own Tamiyo? I mean, it might make sense to do that. Ether Gust own Tamiyo is not a bad play here, necessarily. Although you probably just want to Ether Gust my Nissa, realistically. Okay, the real question is, do I cycle this now, or if I think they're going to Ether Gust my Nissa on upkeep, do I just wait and then cycle into casting Nissa immediately? Feels like I want to cycle into casting Nissa immediately, actually. Let's just take my turn. Draw my card. Cool. Nissa getting gusted, so I get to tap this for double green. Then Nissa goes to the top of the deck. Then I cycle Fetid Pools. Then we draw the Nissa and we get to swing with it. So opponent could like try to crack the Sphere to draw another Ether Gust. But that doesn't seem... might be worth, honestly. Cool. Alright, so... oh, we can just cast Uro this turn too, right? Because this deck is stupid? Yeah, we can cast Uro because this deck is stupid. Gosh. Gosh. Now we draw the card. Alright, so I don't think there's a way I lose from here. Basically, I need an Emery to get the crazy combo kills out of nowhere, so... Looks like more than scavenging is we just needed broken draws, which I guess lends more credence to the Explorer theory of just trying to increase the number of broken draws you get. And opponent is flooding out, as this deck is sometimes prone to do, with a pile of Mind Stones, Land Realms, and Chromatic Spheres. Okay, Uro does get to come out, actually. That will keep them alive. That will keep them alive. I needed that scavenging was a little earlier, but with Nissa around, we're in a pretty strong position. And Amber into Emery, into Mindstone. Okay, if that had been Amber into Emery, I'd have been really scared, because I guess their graveyard is not that scary at the moment. Alright, so we're going to Fabled Passage, we're going to grab a Forest, we're going to start by... If I just jam second Nissa here, we force them to block my Uro with their Uro, which is pretty delicious. Let's cycle first, see what I hit. Tail's End. Alright, that seems good too, I guess. We'll just go ahead and untap the Forest, play the other Nissa. This should probably put me in a locked up position. Oh, broken cards are broken. Can almost cast that Uro again, but not yet. One goes for Tamio, which we Tail's End, and then they have Uro again, but it's not going to be enough, because we're attacking for a lot. Opponent good games, that's good sport. We definitely punted hard in game 2 and it didn't matter in the end. That matchup felt pretty good with the 4 Tails Ends, gotta say. Let me update the record now. All right. 2,000 gems secured. Let's do this. All right, Gul Dukat up against a very, very strong arena player here. And the draw is... Double Thoughtseize is hard to give up. It's hard to give up Double Thoughtseize. Extinction Event might be it. I think this is a keep. This one's close. Obviously, there are a lot of ways this hand goes very poorly. I just never hit a green source. I just rip some non-lands, but going to 6 on the play with Sultai really sucks, and the Shark Typhoon at least lets me filter through some bad cards. So all we really want is to draw lands for the next like 3 or 4 turns. So what Fabled Passage deck are we talking here? Highly unclear. All right, that's a good start with the breeding pool. Let's see what's up. All right, Mirror. Mirror, and our hand is actually pretty good. This is definitely a take growth spiral kind of turn. And then get the green mana down, I guess. Sure. Wait, that's a huge punch for playing Breeding Pool. I am sequencing terribly today. I just drew an arrow that I can't cast. Although I think my actual play here is just going to be Cycle Shark Typhoon anyway, because I really just want to get lands going for this Krasis. Like, I think I just want to cycle and then go, like, Uro into Thoughtseize, but it would have been nice to be able to play Uro that turn. Would have been a bit better than the Force Cycle on the Sharks, to say the least. Yeah, you gotta get my head screwed on, chat. Gotta get my head screwed on. Sultai is very good, but you don't get Santh Man field results by playing like Aaron Gertler. That's the harsh lesson. Alright, so opponent could have Growth Spiral. If they have Growth Spiral and Anissa, I lose. So I believe we just have to Thoughtseize here. Make sure we don't get Growth Spiral and Anissa. Cool. Alright, so we're just going to take Nissa, leave them with a handful of pretty bad removal spells, and...
We need to become Aaron Gertler.
Spiral now? Yeah, not really any reason not to Spiral now. Okay, so we're a little bit struggling with lands, our opponent a little bit struggling with relevant spells. Basically, maybe if they find like a Nissa first, or if I can find some lands first. We do have Bloodchief's Thirst, which is nice. If they have a Nissa, we don't just lose on the spot, which I always like. Okay, no Nissas, great. So, believe we go Spiral here, because if I hit the green source, I guess if I hit the green source, I can just sequence both of these anyway, so I should probably start with the more expensive one. I can cast Thoughtseize off of either of these. Alright, Zagoth Triome. Spiral, sure. And did Gold find the Nissa? Did Gold find the Nissa? This would be a great time for Gold to find the Nissa because we get to kill her before there's any follow-up. Uro, sure. Okay, we do have Extinction Event to wipe this out if it comes back. So, do I go Nissa here? Nissa gets pulsed, and then the land gets killed? So that actually doesn't seem advisable. I think I just want to Uro again. Yeah, Nissa just doesn't seem like where I want to be at the moment. I think I just want to keep hitting land drops over and over again if I can. Yeah, Heron's actually kind of annoying. I could also just jam Krasis, which... Actually, Krasis forces the Eliminate if they want. No, they can Heartless Act it because they'll be exactly on 3. I should not Krasis right now. I should just... I can also just Nissa and not activate it. Then they just go Uro Pulse, which seems bad. I'm going to Uro here. Like, yes, it's just going to die, but I need to hit land drops. Oh, okay, we got Gusted. Well, I'm not putting that one back on top. So that was their draw. So they're going to Uro me. I get to Extinction Event. And still an interesting little fight we have going here. Shark Typhoon. Alright, so we're just like sitting here never drawing lands, but surviving nonetheless. It's going to be about if my opponent finds an early Krasis. Do they have a Negate in hand? Heartless Act. Okay, Heartless Act their own Uro. That makes sense. They get to jam it potentially as early as next turn, honestly. But we at least got them to 2 for 1 themselves a little bit. We have the Thirst for it if it comes out again. So still just looking to dodge Nissa. Our opponent's, he'd much rather be the person with 9 lands and 6 spells against 6 lands and 9 spells in this matchup. Because now they can just Uro into Nissa if they hit it. Krasis is just going to lethal us out because our opponent's going to have much more spell efficiency. So we're so far on 5 lands for 17 cards, and our opponent is just outdrawing us a lot here. Because they have the mana to be able to cast spells and cast Growth Spiral. Overgrown Tomb's nice. Okay, so plan here is... So I can Nissa into Bloodchief's Thirst. I have to give up a land, and then Nissa gets pulsed, but then I have another Nissa. So I believe that's worth it. The penalty is if they have Ether Gust in hand, I die, versus just Thirsty means I don't just die to that. With the second Nissa in hand, I think putting out Nissa now is best. I think it's the best move we have. Hoping they don't have a second Ether Gust right now. I guess I got punished by Tail's End as well. They're like, this play is very risky in some ways. Okay, maybe actually I'm not doing this. Change of heart. Kick, Bloodchief's Thirst, kill arrow. Hold up spiral. I would actually be happy to bait an opponent's Ether Gust with my spiral here, so I'm going to keep this up. This arrow's coming back soon. An attempt to Extinction Event, it did not work out. Opponent's still whiffing on Nissas though, which is great news for me. Eliminate. Okay, that'll stop Uro from dominating me at least. And now I think I gotta start jamming Crasises. Yeah, I just need to start hitting land drops here. I could also just hold up Shark. Shark puts like decent pressure on Nissa if they go for Nissa. But no, I want to hit land drops, and I have another Crasis as backup in hand. I think hitting land drops is just the most important thing to do. Oops. So opponent's got, okay, not Crasis, not Crasis. We're holding out desperately. 6 lands and 22 cards so far. Alright, their Crasis is bigger, but not going to kill me, and they did tap out for it. So, and we are pretty Thoughtseize proof over here. In our way. Not super Thoughtseize proof, I guess, but kind of Thoughtseize proof. You've got this Tail's End, which is good. We're still behind, especially against Castle Lochthwain and our opponent's 32 life, but we're trying to win some matches despite drawing really poorly in the Sultai mirrors so far. Just decks full of lands, they're around here somewhere. Tough choice for the opponent here. I almost wonder if it's just eliminate. I think you just want to keep this Crasis on board. Because I can't really cast Nissas if you just have this Crasis on board. I can cast Nissa into Extinction Event and then I have to exile my own land, which is horrible. Like, yeah, I think it's eliminate here. But I don't know what's in their hand, so it's a little tough. Okay, they took Nissa. I have Pulse. We're not going to pulse the Crasis. Not going to pulse the Crasis here. So Nissa comes down. Hopefully we don't get Pact of Negation or anything. Untap the Tomb. Do some attacking, and then eliminate the Crasis. Not off of this, but off of this. Holding up Tail's End at the same time. Tail's End means I can counter a Crasis ability, which is cool. Pulse at least takes out Uro when that comes back. We're in a bad position, but not an unwinnable position, because I guess the opponent could just Pulse Nissa, so we'll float mana here. So stops him from playing a Nissa pre-combat at least. It can just jam Uro. And still have Castle Lochthwain up. So yeah, we're very, very far behind. I don't think we're going to win this. I guess Extinction Event on Odd is nice if they do the Uro here again. Okay, Narset into, I guess they have their extinction event over there, or Languish or something. Narset definitely shuts me way the hell down. Don't think I can win against Narset. Yep. This is fun though. This is like a good, like a classic example of why you want to be the person who has more lands in these controlling mirrors. So I could draw exactly Nissa. If I draw exactly Nissa, we can still get there, potentially. If I don't draw exactly Nissa, I will probably just scoop this one to the Castle Lochthwain plus Narset over here. Again, just don't see the value in playing out these 1%er games. They played the land there. That's fascinating. All right. On the other hand, I do have 2 Tails Ends. I do have 2 Tails Ends and a Shark Typhoon that can clear out the Narset, or try to clear out the Narset, except they have Eliminate, so I don't know. I think I actually pass. We'll give them one more turn. We can shut down a lot of their spells. So if this Narset like whiffs. Oh, Thoughtseize. Fun. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so this is now, we're 24 cards deep and we've hit 6 of our 29 lands. Just no chance in a game like this. Nah, guess Opponent's down to 24 cards. Opponent is down to 24 cards, which is something. Maybe we can mill them out somehow, except for that Nissa kills us by herself, so that's of course not actually going to happen. Still in a position where if they like do something weird and tap out of Eliminate, we could draw Nissa and kill their Narset and then play a big Krasis and somehow recover. It's not terribly likely though. Opponent is at 7 minutes gone. We're at equal time on clock. All right, we drew the Nissa. So we can animate a land and then run it headlong into Eliminate. All right, so I guess the actual move is play Nissa and just plus it without animating a land. I think just giving them an ability to play Eliminate this turn is really bad. So if I even had one more land, I could still be holding up Tail's End here and be in a reasonable position, being able to counter an opposing Nissa. All right, they play 2 Maelstrom Pulses. That's informative. Now I'm going to scoop the game. Okay. All right, that was... I don't think we learned much from that aside from draw lands. Narsets come in, Oozes come in, one Ooze comes in. Graces comes in, Tail's End comes in, Gusts come in. Events come out, Thirsts are kind of sluggish and come out. Pulse comes out, I think. This card's just like a little slow at taking care of Nissa. And just generally weaker than other cards we could have in the mirror. 1 Uro comes out. And we probably bring in a 3rd Typhoon. Once again, Gus feels sketchy. Possible Eliminates are sketchy. Possible a lot of things are sketchy. I'm like kind of overboarded for the mirror here. Yeah, maybe just post-board we just keep cutting casualties. They did not show me... They showed me Ether Gust, but not... Yeah, maybe casualties is just a scam. We cut that. We're at 61 cards. Cut 1 Gust. Okay. So just want to hit lands. Just want to hit lands here. So where were we supposed to go on the draw on the Sultai mirror? Maybe with some builds. Probably not ever, actually. Probably not ever. Okay, lands and spells. We're in. This hand is hyper weak to Narset. I guess it's not actually, because we can just Uro into turn 4 Nissa. Oh, Thoughtseize is a very good draw. Let's do that. Okay, we're seeing Typhoon, Uro, Narset, and Narset. So... So if we just get turn 4 Nissa and they don't have Thoughtseize and they tab out for Narset, we can win. I still think Narset's kind of scary and maybe just want to discard one of them. Tricky call, tricky call. Because, like, if I can just get this Nissa down, they can have as many Narcissits as they want, and I don't care. So it could just be they're going to hit Typhoon. Let's hit Typhoon and assume they're not going to draw Gust or Thoughtseize in the next 2 turns. Typhoon can also cycle, which gives them a better chance of hitting Gust or Thoughtseize in the next 2 turns, which I'm not interested in seeing. Definitely want to keep the Overgrown Tomb in hand in case we Uro into a Thoughtseize next turn. Ether Gust, that's fine. Fine magic card. So they could also, if they Gust the Uro here, we'd be in some trouble. I guess we could also just misland. Nope, didn't misland. Putting this one down so I can play Nissa next turn, and here goes. Opponent hit Growth Spiral, which is incredibly tilting, because this means they can now Narset into Thoughtseize and just murder us. If they'd had Growth Spiral and play last turn, we definitely would have taken it, but unfortunately we were not able to. So I just have to hope they whiff on Thoughtseize. Okay, they whiffed on Narset completely. That was very good, and now we probably win the game. Yay, Sultai. Woo! Yay, Sultai. And it is nice that we can Ether Gust Maelstrom Pulse. I do like that part. Uro. So do I Gust this? Is there a world where I Gust this? I don't think so. I'd rather just Gust it coming out of the graveyard. Spiral, sure. Don't think it's worth it to jam the second Nissa just yet here. Get us some more offensive presence, but... Well, maybe I'm changing my mind with that land draw, actually. So I go second Nissa, they're already taking 9 damage. We've got a Gust for their Uro, and we're putting another card in my graveyard for my Uros. They can't counter the other Nissa right now. It seems potentially pretty valuable. What's the thing that really punishes me? Them having, like, what, Maelstrom Pulse plus a counterspell or something? I mean, they have Uro guaranteed next turn thanks to Fabled Passage. The thing I like about second Nissa gives me much better chances against, like, them just having Thoughtseize as their draw. Because if they, like, Thoughtseize Ether Gust play Uro and I don't have the second Nissa out... actually, Nissa's just working toward ultimate, so I think I just go for that. Let's just work Nissa toward ultimate, hit them. Yep, this is... Someone says in chat, this is a really dumb deck. I do agree. Hard to argue with that. Possible playing the Nissa there is right. So we'll see if they've got the negate. If they've got the negate, it's like mildly awkward. We can beat Dispute, which our first Sultai opponent was playing for some reason, despite it being just horrendous in positions like this. Good. So they can now pulse Nissa, and we have the second Nissa. Nope. All right. Cool, cool. So Nissa's working toward ultimate. Even something like a big Crisis now is not super scary, and we've got like a million draws that just bury our opponent in the ground. Eliminate's not one of them, but it's not awful. If we did a Fabled Passage, I'd be tempted to play the other Nissa just to literally put it in the graveyard to play Uro this turn, but we don't have that option, so we're just gonna probably win unless our opponent has, like, I don't know, Languish or something in their deck. Shark Typhoon, a little late at this point. Assuming I'm going to try and use it defensively and then lose to eliminate. Suppose I should spiral now. Whoop! There's an Narset in place. That doesn't do anything. Why am I this way, chat? Why am I this way? Alright, so we're just gonna... I think we just go all out on our opponent. They cycle Shark Typhoon, we eliminate the shark, and we win. Yeah. Shouldn't matter, but literally there's an Narset in play. I'm just playing terribly today. Definitely don't deserve to earn money for this performance. Okay, so opponent gets a shark, we'll eliminate it before they draw the card in case they play Pact of Negation. It's the little things, chat. It's the little things you have to remember. Okay. Anyway, alright, we'll try to play better in game 3. So, 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Tails in, still my good weapon against Narset. Probably want second Gust on the draw. Plausibly could cut and eliminate. Plausibly could cut a... Yeah, whenever I see a Sultai mirror, I'm just like, Casualties of War is silly. It's like, why bother doing this? So do I want the Ooze? Do I want the Ooze at all? It does do something against Narset. Doing something against Narset is Pog. Do I even want my Narsets on the draw? They are super vulnerable just getting Nissa'd into the ground. And that's tough. I don't know. Can I actually see Pulse being reasonable in the draw as a way to kill a Nissa that comes out. Cutting Narset's probably dumb, but running this into Nissa just feels so bad. I don't really want to cut any Thoughtseizes. Thoughtseize is very good. Could maybe cut one Typhoon. I could cut a land on the draw. Cutting a land on the draw is actually probably reasonable. We did get super scammed by not having enough lands in the first game, but on the draw, I think that's less of a concern. I'm gonna cut a land on the draw. Let's try this. I don't know. Okay. If we draw a Scavenging Ooze and we really need defended pools, then I will have screwed up. That will be what we'll try to learn. 6 lands, Shark Typhoon. Don't think we can. This is better. Scavenging Ooze is really not doing a ton. Do I put back I think I just put back a land here, actually. Is there any reason to keep the Triome over Fabled Passaging for a swamp? Fabled Passage, if I draw it later, could be an untapped land. Okay, so... Getting Thoughtseized, see if they take Ooze. At least Double Tails End shuts off a lot of their scariest starts, makes the game more into, like... I guess it makes the game into a who has the Uro contest, which means playing 3 Uros post-board feels bad. It's kind of tilting. Like, Alexander Gordon Brown's list, which I took this from, was, like, super basic minimalist Sultai, like literally 4 Hydroid Krasis, just throw all the Sultai-looking cards and play 4 of each of them. And I now really wish I was playing that version, just hitting Sultai Mirror after Sultai Mirror. Okay, so opponents on the double Thoughtseize start, which at least means they might not have that much else to do. So if they have a Narset here, an Uro here, we're in trouble. I guess I Thoughtseize them in case they have an... I don't know. Okay, so they're on 3rd Thoughtseize Nissa Krasis. I think we have to take the 3rd Thoughtseize. We could take the Nissa... If we take Krasis, they can Thoughtseize my Tails in and play Nissa in a couple turns, and we have no defense against that. If I take Nissa, they eventually have a Krasis, which I have no defense against. But they don't have very many lands right now. Actually, maybe I do. I have 2 Narset in my deck. I think I actually take Nissa here. They can Thoughtseize if they want to, and then it's just a matter of, do I draw like a Narset before they do? Now they play Narset mains. They probably have like 4 Narset post-board, but they also only have 1 blue source. And they are not going to Thoughtseize my Tail's End. Cool, cool. We drew Eliminate. Maybe this card actually should get cut. This card always just... You're always 2-for-1ing yourself. Why do I want to be 2-for-1ing myself like that? Why am I interested in doing that? I don't know. Okay, so plan is we're definitely cycling this Fetid Pool's end of their turn to try and draw Narset if we can. Uro's a good draw here. Cannot wait until Uro is banned from this format forever. And I can stop doing this and start playing interesting decks again. Alright, opponent's hitting their land drop, so the Krasis is going to be a problem eventually. You really just want to hit that Narset. Or I guess another Thoughtseize to take their Krasis would work. How about another Fetid Pools? Alright, let's... Do I Growth Spiral now or wait? Not really much point to waiting. Drew Shark Typhoon. Alright, we are going to put this into play now. So Shark Typhoon can handle a smallish Krasis if we don't get Thoughtseized here. If they do Thoughtseize us here, they're presumably not going to Krasis us. Tails End plus Eliminate do answer Krasis exactly by themselves. Still want an Uro. Nissa. Okay. Okay. Just need that land. Just need that land. And they're going to Krasis here. They are going to Krasis. So we're going to Tails End the trigger. No 2 cards for you. And then we'll eliminate the big boy coming down. Right the heck now. And let's see if we can hit that land for Nissa. Hit that land for Nissa. Hit that land for Nissa. Tilt! Okay. We'll see. We'll see. 2 cards in the opponent's hand. They might just be lands. Okay. Do I start with Narset to get around Ether Gust? Narset is much worse against Shark Typhoon than Nissa is. I think I just Nissa here. If they have Gust, it's whatever. If they have Shark, I can keep Nissa in play and then resolve Narset. Alright, now do I attack against the risk of Shark Typhoon? This resolved. This just straight up resolved. They're at 12? I think I attack given that they're at 12. Good. Good, 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 good. Okay, opponent found their own Nissa, just in time. Just in time, okay. Well, can't pulse. Can't pulse, opponent. Remember not to pulse. They could Ether Gust my Nissa, which would be sad times. So if I block and they have Ether Gust, it's horrifying, but I'm going to assume they don't have that. Because they can just Ether Gust on my draw step if I don't do this, so I think I do it. That dies. Everything dies. Ether Gust! Oh, baby, baby, are we going to win this game for really stupid reasons?
Aaron Gertler tonight, Chad. That's the goal.
Are we going to win the game for really stupid reasons here? Let's jam Narcito. Spiral, sure. Play Spiral now, I guess. They could have Mystical Dispute, which would force me to do the Nissa thing main phase. So if I Ether Gust Nissa now, I get around Dispute, I get around Negate that they could have in the hand. They could kind of get me with a Pulse, I guess, but I'm still hitting them for a bunch of damage with the land. I think we're gusting now. Gets around Dispute. You at least can't pact a negation with a single blue source. Wouldn't be surprised if they had Narset in hand. So we could technically Growth Spiral right now and try to hit Thoughtseize. But then our Narset dies, which doesn't seem worth. Oh, I guess we can actually... So we're Spiral now, actually, because this could hit Tail's End. Or Gust. Nope. Alright, lands are good, though. Lands are good. So we're going to have the first Nissa to ult, which is key. And we've got Crisis wrapped up pretty well here. Can also draw Uro. Lots of things that work well here. Okay, whiff, whiff. Alright. So do I hit them? I think I just hit them over Nissa, right? I think I'm hitting them over Nissa here. Because that, like, puts them really dead to, like, future Shark Typhoons in a way that other things don't. If they can kill a land and hit my Nissa, I'd much rather be hitting their Nissa here, I guess. Let's hit their Nissa. This also means that if they, like, kill my Nissa somehow, I can draw another Nissa, kill their Nissa. Ooh, alright. Narset. Alright, they're digging. So they need to hit, like, Eliminate or Maelstrom Pulse. Maelstrom Pulse doesn't do it. It has to be, like, Eliminate. And they whiff too. All's fair in love and war. All's fair in love and war, chat. Alright, so I get to ult. It's looking like we're going to get to ult here. Although I don't even know if I want to ult here. Never really have any reason not to block against this. Would like to shut off opponent's draw. Hit Zagoth Triome. Okay. So we cycle you. Oh god. Oh god, chat. I did it again. I did it again, chat. Alright, alright. We're just gonna kill... I'm just gonna kill their Narset and hope they don't draw anything exciting. Because I would like to be able to ult Nissa and still have it in play. Jesus Christ. Can't believe I did it again. Can't believe I did it again. Y'all are gonna be so mad in 2 minutes. It's really bad. It's really real bad. It's real bad. It's not good. Okay, Narset again. So if they hit Eliminate, they're still in the game. They hit Shark Typhoon. That... I guess that also keeps them in the game. They get to cycle a Shark for 4 here. Frick, if I just had one more card in my hand, it'd be really good. It'd be really good to have one more card in my hand right now. It'd be really good to have one more card in hand right now, gotta say. Crap, I'm going to lose because of that, and I'm going to deserve to lose, and then hopefully we'll play better in Cube. I don't think Narset's in Cube, so we might actually be able to win some games. Jesus. I just, like, thought... I was, like, thinking of the Narset as dead, because I was planning to kill her with Nissa that turn, and just cycled before combat instead of after actually killing the Narset. Not thinking, not thinking, not thinking. Opponent passed. Okay, opponent's got a big shark. And they get to cycle for it now. Are they going to cycle it now? That would be a weird line, but I guess it could make sense. Alright, I absolutely deserve to just draw land and lose. If I do draw a cycle land, though, we're at least not going to cycle it immediately. Okay, I drew Shark Typhoon, so now I probably win. So I get to ult Nissa, and then I've got a giant shark to block with. Do I need to kill their Narset, actually? Maybe I just plus kill their Narset. And then I can cycle Shark to... So I kill their Narset, then I can cycle Shark to block their Shark, block with a land. Do I just go for infinity mana? Oh man, not having the extra card here is such a tilt. I think I need to kill Narset here. I think the opponent getting access to another whole spell is really bad. Really bad if we let them do that. So we're going to kill the Narset right here, right now. Gonna have Nissa at 10. Gonna have a Shark that I can create. And yeah, weird game we're playing here. Weird game we're playing. Opponent can draw all sorts of things that blow me out. They've got more mana now. They've got the tempo with the Shark. It's possible to try and win to matter, and it's more that I whiffed. My opponent whiffed on Narset too. They just had the extra card the whole time. A lot of stuff destroys me. I guess I could cycle a Shark, eat one of their lands, take a hit on Nissa, but then have a 4/4 Shark. That could work. Or my opponent could just do this and let me ult a Nissa. Maybe they have Maelstrom Pulse? Anyway, I am definitely going to go ahead and make a 4/4 Shark and block their Shark. Now there are no Narsets in play, which is something. So they could just make like a 10/10 Crisis or something, and that would still be tough. I'm on like 1 Gust and 1 Eliminate left in my deck. Game's far from over. Drew another Nissa. That's very good, though. Having another Nissa is very good. So we are 100% ultimating now. Hopefully this doesn't get Tails Ended. Did not get Tails Ended. Pog. That's all of them. That is all of them. Okay. We get to attack into opponent or Nissa. I think I attack into my opponent here. Trying to get them to the point where a Shark can kind of just kill them. They're going to kill Narset and then play a Krasis, I think. But then I've still got a lot of stuff going. I'll attack them here. Oh, they have a Shark? Okay, big Shark also makes sense. So game's far from over still, but indestructible lands do help a bit. They help a bit. I should Spiral now, right? I should Spiral now in case I had Tails End. Or Eliminate, that would work too. Oh, opponent's got Negate for the Growth Spiral. Okay, cool, cool. Interesting. All right, we'll see how this goes then. So we lose Narset, so Krasis is a huge problem if they can find one. I guess Nissa's honestly not bad either. It's a lot of spare lands they've got there. So I win if I can find a Krasis now, if they don't have another Narset here. Shark Typhoon probably also gets me there. Get to eat a breeding pool. So it looks like, I wonder if my opponent boarded out all their Uros? I feel like neither of us has actually hit an Uro yet, which is insane. Oh, Scavenging Ooze is still just a 2/2. It's funny. Okay, so Krasis now. Alright, looks like they have the Krasis, so I'm just going to have to find my Krasis or Uro. Uro does pretty well here too. See if they go, I assume they're going to leave up Thoughtseize mana? What? Huh? Oh dear. Opponent just clicked the wrong button in their own panic. That's horrifying. Oh no. Alright, so let's Thoughtseize. Make sure they don't have... I don't know what they could have. Nothing, I guess. Alright, well, I punted twice, they punted once, but their punt was more significant here. So, I guess I am in good shape, kind of. Hit them twice, force Krasis to block. I guess I lose Nissa immediately by doing that. But they would have to lose both of their two lands to kill Nissa, and then I win unless they draw exactly a creature, so I think I hit them. Wow, exactly a 3/3/2, so can't even block a land and survive. That is horrible. That is really bad. Yeah, I really think they boarded out of all their Uros. I guess did they see Scavenging Ooze in game 2? Or they just gotten horribly unlucky? I guess Uro could still just bury me here if they had one. They could find one. I guess they keep Nissa alive in that case. Like, game is still not over. Fetches Island, so it looks like this is not Krasis. Looks like it's not Uro either. Shark? Okay. So is the move to Thoughtseize now if I think they have Shark Typhoon, or wait? If I Thoughtseize, they just cycle in response, but then their land is tapped, or they have to make a tiny shark. So I should actually go for Thoughtseize now. Alright, Castle Lockthwain. Yep. So we're both whiffing on the last couple draw steps here. Opponent's about to ult their Nissa, but they have to lose 2 lands now, so this is not sustainable for them. So they could still draw Uro if they have any Uros. It might be castable. No, they have 2 black sources, so probably not. Yep. Wow, chat. Alright, that was... Alright. I feel like I should, like, swear on my life not to cycle into any more Narsets, having somehow scraped that one out. Ideally, we just don't hit any more... I feel like I would never do that against a blue-white deck, is the weird thing. I think I would only really do it against the Sultai decks where I'm just thinking about resources. Oh, look, fancy pet. Alright, let's keep going. We'll do this in your honor, Gul Dukat. Do this in your honor. Oh, Lord. Somebody asked why they negated Growth Spiral in that game. I think it made perfect sense. Like, a lot of my cards left in my deck at that point are Hydroid Krasis and Shark Typhoon. And if you can stop me from getting to one of those cards a turn earlier, Negate's totally worth it. But that was, yeah, we punted twice. Punted twice in the same match, and same game, maybe? It's all a blur. But the opponent punted back, and that was it. Magic is a skill game, and the better player always wins. Alright, this is the kind of 2-lander that we do have to keep. So we will. We are not going to fetch a swamp with this, because we do need to cast Growth Spiral on 2. So many clumsy, clumsy hands, this deck. Oh boy, it's a mirror again, chat. It's a mirror again. Take second green source for Nissa. We're just going to resolve Growth Spiral now. Not really any good reason not to. We hit Overgrown Tomb, which is nice. So Extinction Event's pretty bad. Casualties of War is cute if we eventually get to use it. Do I Cycle Typhoon for 1 now? I believe I do. I just want to hit land drops. Puts a little smidgen of pressure on Narset too if they have one. Maelstrom Pulse at least means I don't lose to another Nissa. Hope we just get some lands this game of our 29. Especially with 8 cycle lands. I think 29 is probably too little for this deck. Hero, at least isn't coming out too soon at this rate. Unless they go Fable Passage into Thoughtseize. Alright, so they're the 4-color version. They got Yasharns, which are not outstanding. Believe we're just gonna respect the possibility of a Nissa here. Hold up Tail's End. Opponent knows that we missed a land drop, so they don't know that we're necessarily going to have a counterspell. They might just think my hand is full of expensive garbage.
Need to become Aaron
removal spells.
That's the goal.
I'm countering Yasharn too, of course. Can't let them have a 4/4. I'm countering Uro too, I think. Like, I'm planning to cast Nissa or Kerasis next turn, I think. I have a Maelstrom Pulse in case I end up casting Kerasis after not hitting a land and they have Nissa. So I think we just make that disappear. Make it much less likely they can counter my Nissa. Thoughtseize is okay. I guess I deploy this. Or do I just play a 2/2 Kerasis? If I play 2/2 Kerasis, they play Nissa. I Maelstrom Pulse their Nissa. I think I actually want the card here. Maybe that's wrong. I just need to hit land drops or I'm not going to win this game. Land drops really important. Or not. Okay. So again, classic game, my opponent has at least 5 lands in their top 12 cards. I've got 4 lands in my top 15 cards, and all of my cards are, as a result, way less powerful. Not attacking the Shark, because if they Nissa, I can threaten to double block their land here. It's possible using Tails End there was wrong, but I think if I wasn't hitting a land there, I was in big trouble anyway. Casualties of War could eventually be good. If this game goes long, if I can like draw some lands and just keep killing their stuff, Casualties of War could help me keep up with Uro stuff. But yeah, I just if I play this deck ever again, which who knows, I am definitely just going to throw 30 lands in it. Nice, Nissa. Am I Nissing? Well, worst case scenario probably is it gets Ether Gust or something. They can make a 4/4 Shark, but the 4/4 Shark can't attack very well, so gonna get the second swamp for Casualties. I could also Thoughtseize them. But I can also just Nissa into Thoughtseize them, right? See if it gets negated or Tails Ended, it's whatever. I think we just have to throw it out and hope that our opponent's on Sharks. Gust. Yes, we'll put it on top. We'll put it on top. Still no attacks. Same reasoning. Opponent, I guess they get Uro next turn, and then we can kill it. We can Extinction Event it, and then cast Thoughtseize, which is not a horrible turn. If they have a Nissa as well, that's going to be tough. But I guess we get Maelstrom Pulse plus Eliminates. We're still not out then. Frickin' mirrors, man. Frickin' mirrors. Yeah. Yeah, Yasharn is really good in this matchup too, huh? So they don't have another breeding pool, looks like. I guess if they don't have a land drop, they don't get to Uro this turn? %100% down to double block here. If they have like breeding pool into Uro, it's tough, but... Oh, they might just have an Eliminate. If they use an Eliminate here, though, it's kind of okay, because then they're not using it on a Nissa land. Fatal Push Kerasis, okay. So they've got Triome untapped over here. The question is, do they have another Ether Gust? If they don't... No, I think the play here is actually just Thoughtseize them and then pulse the Nissa. Then I can go Nissa, untap, eliminate Uro next turn. Start here. Expertise, Gust, Mythos. Think we take Gust. Oh, I only have one white source. I'm definitely taking Gust. And then we pulse the Nissa. And then if I draw a land and they jam Uro, I get to kill like their Uro and their white source with Casualties of War, which seems very strong, potentially. And can also just Extinction Event Uro, which is not too bad. I'm at a pretty safe life total still. Opponent is at 3 cards in the graveyard. They look to have missed a land off of Uro there. Thoughtseize, okay. This is still okay. Like, it's a little bit tricky for our opponent to figure out what to take here, I think. Nope, wasn't tricky at all. Okay, so we drew that. So we now just... I think it's just Extinction Event on Uro. And we wait. So if they draw a Nissa, they can't really cast it into the threat of Casualties, which is fun. Spiral, sure. Thoughtseize here would be a little tilting. Krasis, tiny baby Krasis is fine. Okay. Can I get the land and Casualties? Land Casualties would be tasty. I could take out both their blue sources. Or I can just draw another Growth Spiral. Why are we doing this now? Okay. So we'll put that in. Spiral again, I suppose. We're under a lot of pressure here. Nissa's helpful. So we're going to have to like fight pretty hard to defend ourselves. They do have the second white source, so Mythos is going to take out Nissa. We're quite far behind against Uro coming back again, but we maybe have a shot, a tiny shot. I think my best move here is to eliminate the Watery Grave, keep my life total a little bit higher. And then if they jam Uro, I get to Casualties, taking out Uro and something. And then maybe I can draw a Krasis. I do have to tap out a blue here. So yeah, just quietly, the Uro, having Uro versus not... I think I shouldn't board out Uro in this matchup. Maybe post-board, if I expect them to have Narset Sin. Do they also have Thoughtseize now? Another Uro. Okay. How droll. Okay, so I can... Can I Nissa? I can actually Nissa into Casualties here, right? I can Nissa into Casualties. That's pretty cool. I'll do that, I think. I mean, they pulse my... They Mythos my Nissa, but it is what it is. So yeah, Nissa, green, black, or whoops, black, green, untap. Finally getting to use Casualties, and it's just an enormous letdown, but that's mostly because I didn't have the lands. There were many turns this would have been pretty good. Creature, land, Uro, and they've got double white already. I'm not really going to be able to take them off of white, so I think I just hit Zagoth Triome. And it's not a good spot for me against the double Uro, an opponent already back up to 3 cards in the yard. How have there been this many cards in the graveyard? Yeah, I think the main problem with Casualties is just not good against Uro. I guess this card stopped being played right around when this card got printed, which makes sense because it does just put a lot of cards in the graveyard. So I could still rip Typhoon, I could still rip Krasis. Either of those would be strong. Could rip my own Uro, finally. Uro would be decent. Tail's End's not awful. Stops an Uro, at least. Stops a Nissa. Stops a few things. But opponent's drawing now 4 more cards to me this game, and in a mirror full of 1-for-1s, it makes sense that they would be ahead at this point. Thoughtseize. I don't even know if I can afford to cast that, because It puts me on a bad clock against the Cracer. Are they going to cycle a Shark now? Are we on main deck Shark Typhoon here? Are we killing Overgrown Tomb? We're killing Overgrown Tomb. Okay. Sure. So, best hope here is we draw a Shark or a Krasis in the next 2 turns. That's really just what we need to do. If we draw it next turn, we can afford to Thoughtseize and protect the spell. Come on, Krasis. Come on, Krasis. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. 1 turn left to find it. Dead to Nissa. Dead to pretty much everything. Nissa, a little bit too late. Okay. Okay, well, should have a solid edge in the mirror, I hope. I was hoping that Four Tails End would accomplish that. Get to bring in the 3rd Krasis. Yeah, seeing these games, I want Ooze even more. Rose just so important. Narset, Gust, Typhoon. Cutting. Eliminate has felt really bad every time I've drawn it, huh? Maybe 1 stays in. Casualties is a bit better against the 4-color version. It's a bit better when you're on the play, because taking out their white source can deprive them meaningfully of spells, and just generally they play fewer sources of the right colors for things.
We need to become Aaron Girdler tonight, chat. That's the goal.
We got 1 Uro in the mirror. Even if it's a good card to have around, it's just super bad against Narset.
We need to become Aaron Girdler tonight, chat. That's the goal.
The last opponent was cutting them in the mirror, which made sense to me. I think I want to keep all 4 Thoughtseize, and for the 3rd time this day, I just don't know what to get rid of. Maybe 4 Tails End is too many. It just hits everything, though. It literally hits everything that matters. I think I cut. Eliminate. Maybe now that we've got them. Maybe we've got them playing around casualties now. Hopefully. Okay. So mold that game, and then it just turned into not drawing any lands. Just one hit lands. Like 5 lands in opener is okay. I'd be okay with that. Just not 6 and not 2. God is my witness. I'm very tempted. God is my witness. I am very tempted. Cycle turn 2. Got all the land drops in the world. Am I supposed to keep this? There's no way, right? They Thoughtseize. They see 6 lands. I just can't answer a Narset ever. I'm so tempted, though. I have 3 Krasis, 3 Typhoon. I think I'm keeping it. I think I am. I have mulliganed too many times in the mirror today to want to throw this hand back with 2 cycle lands in it.
We need to become Aaron Girdler tonight, chat. That's the goal.
Scavenging Ooze. All right. I will jam that right now. Here we go. It's possible I should wait until after they play some Urros, but they're probably pretty light on removal. I like getting this in under a Thoughtseize. And hey, Uro, look at that. Look at that. All right, drew right out of it, and now we have land drops, chat. Now we have land drops. And opponent can jam Narset. We just kill Narset immediately, so that doesn't work. Fabled Passage. All right, opponent playing... So our version's also just straight up better in the mirror because our opponent's playing 50 million copies of 50 million tap lands over there. Do I jam Nissa? Probably do just jam Nissa. Like, they gust it, I'll just put it back. If they... counter it, it's whatever. I've got counters to stop their stuff. Could also just Growth Spiral and cycle Fetid Pools and have that be my plan, but... I think we just make them have it. And if what they have is Gust, I don't care. They had Negate. Okay. So we're also just throwing cards in the graveyard for my Uro, while my opponent has no Uro of their own and can't have any Uros. And it looks like they're just missing land drops. All right, this time they are the ones in that position, so we'll take it. Gonna Spiral now in case I hit Uro or Thoughtseize or something like that. Hit as a Goth Triome. I think I... Did I put this onto the battlefield? 7th? I think I put this one on the battlefield and then future cycle lands all get cycled. And gotta remember to start eating their graveyard right away. Opponent has their own Spiral. Sure. Oh, that score is inaccurate. There is... hold on. I'm gonna go disable that in a second. Oh, if Scavenging Ooze just wins me one game today, I'll be pretty happy with Scavenging Ooze. Narset. How about we... don't? Yeah, I think we're just like aggressively countering things here, trying to get Uro out as fast as possible. Could get us absolutely screwed by a Nissa, but opponent missed a land drop. We get it Thoughtseize, we get it another Tail's End, we get it all manner of things. We get it Narset. Oh, I guess we had Cycle Fetid Pools and Uro there, which was probably better. Just got so excited to cast this Narset. Aethergust, right? Aethergust over Nissa? I think so. I think I just want to stop them from getting down to Nissa, and then we're probably in business from there, right? Like, what are they going to cast that I care about? Yeah, I'm taking Gust. Let's do that. Keeps Narset alive, does useful things. It is quite plausible that his jamming Uro is right there, but... wonder how many Uros they have in their hand right now. Alright, 400 people are now watching the stream also, so gonna try not to cycle in any more Narsets here. Don't think you're trying to resolve something now. I'm tapped low and haven't drawn this card yet. Eliminating the Ooze or the Narset here. One or the other. Okay, Narset goes down. That is fine. Can't do anything about that. Alright, do I Growth Spire or just ooze some stuff? The reason to ooze some stuff now is if they have another removal spell for ooze, and they decide to cast it in response to Growth Spiral, I just get no benefit off of this, whereas even eating a couple of cards is huge for preventing future Uros. I'll Spiral now, though. If they have a removal spell, they're going to save it for Uro. They're not going to throw it at ooze now, I wouldn't think. Okay, hit this. Might as well put it in play. And Nissa. Okay, so I think I go for Nissa here. They've got... I guess they could negate it again. Did I just go for Uro? Uro can get gusted. Anything can get gusted, I guess. I would expect them to be more likely to have another... a gust and another negate here. Because we've already seen one negate. Sure. Yep, top that one. Keep on swinging. Keep on swinging. I feel like I've mulled multiple 6-land hands today, and maybe the secret all along was just to keep the 6-land hands. Okay, opponent's going to try something. Are they just going to try their own Nissa, knowing they run into Gust? Yashar would be a really good card for them to have here now, except for the part where I gusted, I guess. Uro! Alright, opponent has decided to give up, and I love to see it. I love to see it. They are... So I just eat in response, right? Because if they hit like land... No, I wait, actually. I full control. I wait, and I see if they put a land in. No, they can't cast Uro because they have a plains. What am I thinking? Alright. So they actually can't do Uro, which means I get to eat Uro, which is awesome. And we're going to eat some more of the graveyard now, too. Yum, 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 yum. Okay, trying Nissa again, I think. They could now Thoughtseize into their own Nissa. But anything that stops Nissa is pretty likely to stop Uro too. So I think we're just doing this again. This time it worked. That's cool. Love that working. Feels good, man. And opponent is probably dying now. Probably dead, hopefully. Huh. Guess this means I could kill the island and then be able to do something, but I smell blood. I'm doing Uro now. We are Uroing now.
We need to become...
Alright, Scavenging Ooze gave him the business that game. Scavenging Ooze did give them the business. Do we want the other one? Do we want the other one? It's a really spicy turn 2 play to be able to make. I want to be cutting for it, though. Always the question, always the question. We can't count our opponent just miss a pile of land drops every game like they did there. Honestly, Ether Gust is kind of garb, isn't it? It's kind of sketch. I wonder if there's ever a world where you're supposed to cut a Nissa on the draw, just to have more efficient interaction ready for them. Probably not. We could cut another Uro, but going down to 2 feels pretty sketch.
Aaron Girdler tonight, Chad. That's the goal.
I do like second Ooze, and maybe this is where I go down to 28 lands.
That's the goal.
But having kept the 6-lander and just rolled them with it, it feels awkward to do that. I could cut a Thoughtseize. That's never right. There's no way that's ever right. Could cut a Narset on the draw for some of the same logic I was using before, that it's like a little bit clumsy against a Nissa when they could have that. Hard to tap out for it. Doesn't stop Uro in the right tempo. Yeah, maybe I'll just cut a Narset here. And really just focus super hard on making sure we can stop Nissa with 4 Tails and 2 Gust, 4 Thoughtseize, and stop Uro with the Oozes as well. I guess Narset stops Crisis, huh? It does stop Crisis. Crisis is scary. But like every card here is good. Every card can be good in the right circumstances. The question is just in the pattern that the games tend to play out in. are these patterns where I really like having Narset in my deck. You know, I legitimately don't know. Alright, we'll stick with what we had. One ooze is fine. You never want to draw two of them. Even the one is pretty bad late in the game. A lot of cards get drawn late in the games here. And their mana's really clumsy, so they're not necessarily going to be casting Narsets on turn 3 or whatever. Okay, we keep this. This has a way to stop a Narset. Got a couple arrows. It's pretty acceptable. We are going to be looking for more lands here, as usual. Not getting Thoughtseized as Pog. We could Thoughtseize our opponent, or we could hold open Tail's End. I believe the right move here is to hold up Tail's End, then we can just Thoughtseize and hold up Tail's End the ensuing turn. Or Uro into Thoughtseize. Yep, Spiral happens. Tail's End counters all their stuff. Worst case scenario is they Thoughtseize into Narset. A lot of their ends come into play tapped, though. Almost all their black sources come into play tapped, so it's going to be hard to pull that off. We could do Fable Passage. Also, let's go Island, Uro. My Tail's Ending this. No. No, I'm not. Okay, so would really love an untapped land, so I could potentially go Uro into Thoughtseize. Did not find that, so I believe the move is to Thoughtseize my opponent here. I think just running out Uro is going to be bad. We drew all three of them, by the way. All three Uros. Yeah, someone's saying that Aether Gust seems sus, and I definitely am inclined to agree with that. I don't like the card too much myself. Okay, I think we just take Typhoon here. Typhoon is the card we can't do anything about with what we have now. I think we're just going to wait, and opponent's got Aether Gust. They can gust our Uros when we play them, so we're just going to hope to rip lands here. Maybe I should have gone to 2 Uros, 29 lands, who knows? No matter how a game of Magic goes, there's always draws that will make you regret your decisions.
That's the goal.
Lands? Alright, starting to hit lands is delicious. I think we're just going to wait until I can Uro with Tail's End back up. Like, easiest way to just lose this game is to Uro, miss a land,
That's the goal.
not be able to Tail's End. Opponent can't really cast 2 scary spells in the same turn. Unless they have Thoughtseize is one of them, but right now we're not seeing that. They do have a white source now, so if they have Yasharns in deck, they can cast them. Thoughtseize into Uro would kind of blow us out, but we're doing what we can here. Narset Parter of Veils is getting Tails Ended for sure. And what's our move here? So they're about to Uro. Everything I can do can get Aether Gusted. I think my best move is to cast Krasis, so that I draw the card even if we get Aether Gusted. We're just looking to hit an Aether Gust or an Eliminate here. Shark Typhoon could be decent too, I guess. We'll see. Kind of surprised they didn't Gust there. I guess they just want to hold up Gust after casting Uro. But they don't have... No, they have plenty of blue mana to do that if they want to. So we're probably just losing to their Uro here, but we... if we draw a land, we can cycle Shark Typhoon, maybe force some awkward plays from them. But yep, just classic. They had slightly more lands and cheap spells than we did. We had these 3 Uros, which didn't do much, and... I guess I'm updating more in the direction of taking out Uro on the draw. Like Scavenging Ooze instead of one of these would have been outstanding. But play draw was really more of what affected the game here, I think. It's just hard to work out, that sort of thing. Alright, so I'm trying to Shark Typhoon. They can Mythos to prevent a double block, which is tough. I actually might just want to go Uro here, just see if I can get my owner out as soon as possible. They have Mythos, though, which is really bad. Could also hardcast Shark Typhoon, but they can Mythos that too, so that actually doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think we go Uro. We hope we let this resolve. They let this resolve so that I can draw a Gust or an Eliminate, take out their Uro. We could also draw Narset, which would work around what our opponent has here. If they Aether Gust this, that would be incredibly skilled of them. Alright, so we have a lot of draws that work. It's possible I should have cracked Passage first. Okay, we hit that. So I think I just keep jamming Uros now that that's happened. And we'll crack this now. Alright, they're just going to keep letting these happen, which is cool. Tail's End is... We're one land off of Tail's End being great. So if we get Nissa next turn, we're in very bad trouble. I don't know why I didn't attack Grace. I should have attacked with Grace. I'm not blocking with it. So, missed 2 damage. Probably won't matter, but I thought that in the game against Gul'Dakad as well. Alright, they got Thoughtseize. That's not as bad as a Nissa would be, at least. Tail's End can at least stop 1 Uro trigger later. And also, we're going to get our Uro back soon at this rate. Maybe. Tail's End showing a bit of its weakness here, though. It's probably not actually a 4 of. I like this card in a lot of matchups, but just having some negates would make me a lot more flexible in these kinds of positions. So we're now probably about a turn from our opponent being in an unstoppably dominant position, but we're giving it our best shot. Shark Typhoon can now, if we get another land, Shark Typhoon can actually threaten Uro with a cycle. Opponent actually shocked that in, huh. Interesting. So since I can't make a sufficiently big shark, it feels like my move here is to just cast Uro again, still looking for Gust or Eliminate. I can also cycle Fetid Pools to look for one of those 2 cards. There's Eliminate. Love that. Okay, so I believe I just put this out on the battlefield now with Typhoon in hand. And I'm into swinging with Crisis here. Game's officially looking kind of recoverable. And then, beginning of their turn, I will just eliminate the Uro. I've still got Tail's End up for another threat. So we're actually in reasonable shape, maybe. Maybe. If they have a negate, it's tough. If they have negate, it's really tough. Other things we could beat. Negate would be tough. Gonna Spiral, gonna Cycle? What are we doing here? Alright, they cycle now. So I believe this is my best shot to try for the Eliminate. Before they draw another card here. Sick. All right, that actually... We're actually in a pretty reasonable spot here, I would say. You know, it's not perfect. Many things could crush us, but we've got a counter for their Uro or their Nissa or whatever. Their Yashar and their Narset. Maybe we should let Narset go if that comes down? I don't know. No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. No way. We're actually even on mana, which is kind of cool. That's a land that doesn't do anything for them. You love to see it. You love to see it. That's a land that doesn't do much for me. So the question is, do I start jamming Uros into Gusts now? Or just make the biggest shark I can? I think I want to keep holding up Tail's End, so I think I'm more in the big shark territory of things. Gonna keep swinging and keep hoping they don't have a big shark. Cool. And they're just going to keep hitting useless lands, so I'm into that. Let's make a 7/7, I think. They don't have any Flash Legends. And their shark would be the same size as our shark, so we don't need a Tail's End or anything. And we're like 1 Thoughtseize away from like getting to maybe resolve an Uro, take over the game. Maybe. Opponent Mythos is the shark now. Interesting. Alright, somebody doesn't want to be on the clock. Ether Gust. Ether Gust is lovely. Okay. Do I cycle Triome? I think we start with that, because if we get like Thoughtseize, it's incredible. Potentially. And I still have enough mana to do all the things I want to do next turn. Hit Fabled Passage, that's cool. Alright, so we're pretty close to being able to go like Uro. Do I want to do that at some point? Just go Uro into Uro. Do have basics left. Always good to check on that, but I definitely have basics left. Take a forest. Leave me with Forest Swamp there. So, yeah, pretty sure my move here is... So if I go for Uro, I'm going down one of my counter spells. I think I wait till next turn. I think we're not in any rush. We've got answers to everything they could do, including like a giant Krasis, because we've got Tail's End. I
We
don't
need
know
to
who's
become
ahead here,
Aaron Girdler tonight,
but
Chad.
I
That's the
do
goal.
know that I've still got 2 Krasis in my deck, 2 more Typhoons. Narset Parter of Veils I'm going to go for the Tail's End on. And I'm really hoping this is going to be Narset into Attempt an Uro and get gusted. That would be really nice. Be really nice. Pretty much the only thing that really destroys me here is second Narset, which would be crushingly bad. Krasis wouldn't be a picnic either, but it would be okay. Here we go. All right. There's a reason I didn't play that Uro friend, and it was specifically so I could interact with you twice. And even if you negate this, I get to Joe Uro next turn. They put it back on top. Sure, sure. Okay. Triome, not insane, but here we go. Uro, the first. Exiling 5 non-Uro cards. Yeah, someone was talking about gusting Krasis. I think that's like a reasonable thing to try, but seems a little bit risky, especially since tapping out for it, the opponent could just eliminate it or something and have an active Uro on board. Generally, people having an active Uro on board is something you want to avoid at all costs if you can. Okay, so time to try for Uro again. And exile the other 5 non-Uro cards. They have another Gust. All right, another Gust as their last card makes sense. This time I'm going to put it on top because having a full graveyard is pretty good for me. All right, so it's a top deck war. Opponent's got lots of... Okay, they have Uro. Opponent's got a lot of bomb draws here. They could hit Nissa would be pretty bad. I mean, they're looking for the same stuff I'm looking for, right? And it looks like they hit a land. A land that doesn't even cycle. Pog. So anything could happen, but I'd say that we have more live draws at this point. We also have 3 Tail's End, which counter all their meaningful spells forever. Let's untap, cycle this Triome. Hit a Tomb, okay. I could play that, and I guess there's... I'll actually wait in case they hit a Thoughtseize. I think it's worth it. Nissa, okay. Nissa is definitely one of the people I wanted to see. So, clock established. We still die to a Krasis or a big old Shark Typhoon, probably. Opponent's running low on time to find one of those, though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, so am I just going hard at their life total? I'm definitely going hard at their life total here. Not even a question of whether I'm going hard at their life total. We are going so hard at their life total. Blood in the water. I'm smelling blood in the water. Take 11. Why do the lands have haste and vigilance? I don't know, but it makes me happy to see it. Yeah, won the mirror again. I don't want to play the mirror ever again. Please don't make me do that again. Oh, God. Oh, God. I hate this mirror so much, but it is satisfying. It's more satisfying to win it than to lose it. Okay. Plus, more wins and croakies. Pog. I mean, I guess it's good the games are close. It's even worse if it's the kind of game where one player just runs away with it immediately with Nissa. So, all right, I'm going to take a quick break and be right back with you in about 3 minutes, probably. All right, back. Not a mirror, please. Just let me play against goblins. This is what I got for starting late in the day, though. It's just the Sultai gamers left around. I would even take auras over Sultai at this point, even though I think I'm much more likely to lose to auras. Alright, Eric Severson, what did you bring to the party? This is a good hand. This is one of the best hands I've had all day, especially if we're up against Paradox Engine. I like this hand a lot against Paradox Engine. Don't like being the draw against Paradox Engine, but you can't have everything. Opponent mulls, you'll love to see it. I'm now starting to smell a little bit of money, so I'm not as sorry for the folks who mull. I've become a worse person in these times. Alright, yep, definitely this deck, and guess we're just going to have to see whether Tail's End's going to be too slow. If they cast Emery on turn 2, we're in a lot of trouble. Most other things we can beat. Emery just starts drawing too many cards, and we don't have enough of a clock to really punish them for that. Kinnon's fine. Oh, okay, they're like a teamer version. I see. Alright, so we're going to... So I could just Spiral Thoughtseize. Only thing that really punishes me if they have like multiple 4-drops in hand. If they do that, I basically lose. Whereas if they have 2 4-drops in hand and I like hold Tails in now, what's in their hand? They mulled, they went land, Kinnon, land Werewolves. They almost certainly have 1 Karn. Could also be Paradox Engine. If they resolve Paradox Engine, I'm probably okay if I can keep them low on resources. Yeah, I think I'd rather just have Tails End for their top decks and try to spiral into a Thoughtseize to take their best play for next turn. Hitting Shark Typhoon is also excellent because that really lets me sit here with a counterspell and not feel bad about it. Alright, Karn and Engine. Okay, easy Karn. So they get to resolve an Engine. We have a Casualties in the main deck. We have a Maelstrom Pulse in the main deck that can kill it. And by itself, it's not too scary. Alright, there's Engine. Smash me. We got 1 counterspell to stop something. Kinnon with another mana source would be pretty scary, but... because they can start flooping things. Maybe they won't play around Shark Typhoon. That would be great. It's probably not going to happen, but it would be great if it did happen. Alright, mana's coming. We're just putting Gigantha into hand. We are casting Uro. Do I let that resolve? Yes, I definitely let that resolve. That's not doing a ton for them here. Oh, for a second I thought they were going to like Tails End their own Uro trigger, and I was going to be incredibly tilted. Escape to the... Whoa! Oh no! Oh god, the top decks. Alright, so I could counter the Paradox Engine trigger, which isn't going to do much. Shoot. Alright. Well, we're probably dead. We're probably dead to Escape to the Wilds. Okay, fortunately they didn't hit too much. So they've already played a land this turn. Oh wait, they can actually just... Okay, so we're going to have to Tails End the Amber so they can't do this again. Right, because they don't have any untapped red sources. They will get to do it again next turn. We just have to hope to kill their Kinnan before that happens, or rip an Ether Gust or something. Like, we're going to have to legit Tails End the Mox Amber. Oh wait, they don't have red anyway. So do I Tails End the Mox Amber? I think I still do Tails End the Mox Amber. No, I let this resolve. They get the Amber down. They don't have any red mana. And then we can cycle Shark Typhoon, and then we can Nissa into Tails End for next turn, so maybe they don't kill us. This is definitely terrifying. We also have no timeouts. Let's just keep that in mind. Okay, blue. This mana doesn't do anything. They can cast... Oh, they can use this now. I think I just have to let this happen now. I think I'm kind of priced into this. Alright, they hit Emery, so I'm probably dying. I think I hit Extinction Event could do something, but wow, opponent just blew me away with that freaking Escape to the Wilds. Holy cow. What a good way to punish the people who are playing a bunch of Tails Ends, like my stupid self. I guess if I had countered Uro, they wouldn't be able to do it that turn, but definitely countering Uro was also super wrong, so... Wait, did they not even... Oh, they had an Uro this turn, they did have another land drop. Christ, we are in a real pickle. I don't really see how we get out of this. Emery gets back... Emery doesn't get back anything at the moment, so that's like small mercy. I think we go with... If they double block the Triome, I can take out Kinnan. I think I'm going to hope they don't double block the Triome. We just got to get our offense going hard here. Cool. Alright, so we're going to have to get very lucky to have any chance here. Oh, they have an Uro in the graveyard. We are... No, we're completely screwed. There's no way we beat them from here with the Escape to the Wilds. Okay, if we're going to die, at least we died to somebody playing a cool deck. Then maybe this is just the right version. Legit have no idea how we get out of this one. What a draw. I'm playing 4 Tails in. I just can't actually stop Escape the Wilds very easily. I have Ether Gust and that's it. And I don't even like Ether Gust in this matchup. If this is what they're playing instead of stupid Tamio, that seems amazing. Yeah, I'm just going to scoop here. We just can't break up what they have going with Escape the Wilds in hand. I guess if I had taken Paradox Engine instead of Karn, that might have been something, but Karn was going to blow us out anyway. I mean, I still want 4 Tails in because it still hits almost everything in their deck. Man, Escape the Wilds also gets around Narset? That's so sick. I still want Narset. I don't want Extinction Event. Still don't want Bloodjuice Thirst. I guess I want Ether Gust? I guess I do. Scavenging Ooze, Cut Krasis. Typhoons are pretty important if we're doing the counterspell thing against them. Cry is very good. I might just not have room for pushes. Sheesh. Got completely handled. Maybe I just cut the Ether Gusts and just hope to Thoughtseize their escapes, because Ether Gusting them is so futile. Yeah, Ether Gust actually doesn't seem very good. Could cut 1 Uro on the argument that's just kind of slow. Maybe 4 Sharks is excessive. 4 Sharks could be excessive. Maelstrom Pulse could be excessive. Let's try this. Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah. Don't feel good about having to face them on the play in game 3. But now I want to try the version of this deck that plays Escape the Wilds because it seems like it really gets around some of the things that made the deck hard to play. Like, I imagine Grafdigger's Cage probably doesn't even matter against them a lot of the time. We definitely keep this. Putting on 8 cards over there. Gonna make my life difficult. Okay, they play nothing that turn, which is cool. I think we just go Breeding Pool, pass. They have to cast some kind of spell next turn. Unless they cast exactly Mind Stone, I can counter it or kill it. If they do cast Mind Stone, then I get completely smashed. But I guess now we just try to resolve Narset? Do I do that, or do I, like, Thoughtseize them? No, I'm just going to resolve Narset. And they'll Karn me, and then I'll lose, but, you know, we'll lose with dignity. Just... Yep, this probably has a good matchup against Sultai, the way it's currently built. I guess I take... I actually take Thoughtseize, probably. Spiral, Thoughtseize, I don't actually know. Let's go Spiral. I think I need hitting land drops more than I need more interaction here. Alright, so they're going to play Karn, I'm going to lose. If they don't play Karn, we could have a shot. I guess tap Breeding Pool, no artifact does kind of point at... Alright, Kinnan's fine. Kinnan to Mind Stone is whatever. Kinnan into triple Mind Stone is still kind of whatever. This can't cast Karn at least. Emery is tough though. Emery's tough. Alright, Narset could hit Cry of the Carnarium. If we had a Swamp, that could be good. Didn't work. Okay. What are we looking for now? Maelstrom Pulse? Oh, okay. So that might do something. They have Amber in the graveyard. It's like this only slows them down slightly, which is ridiculous. This only slows them down slightly. I might actually be better off just killing Kinnan here. Kinnan into triple Mind Stone. It's just pulsing 3 of these is fun, but does it do anything? I think I have to. I think this could buy me enough time. We'll see.
We need to become Aaron Girdler tonight.
It's like my only shot.
That's
They
the
get to
goal.
kill Narset now. Like, they can just Emery back an Amber, and they already have 5 mana, which lets them cast Escape. And they have red mana. Yeah, we pretty much destroyed this deck post-board earlier in the day, but Escape the Wilds completely blew us out game 1. It really was feeling very confident sitting there with Tail's End in my hand. And everything went so wrong so fast. Also another game where we're just stuck on 3 lands feeling terrible for ourselves. This deck needs to play 30 lands, I think. It's just, you cannot play like a normal deck and risk having a draw of 3 lands. You just don't do anything and you die. You need to be double spelling, you need to be casting Nissan 4, you need to be doing all this stuff. Okay, Emery digs at Amber. Next week we see Paradox Engine. If I draw a black source and I can kill both their creatures, we could beat a Paradox Engine here. That's a thing that could happen. This gives them red mana for Escape. They didn't generate any red mana, though. They could, if they cast Karn, we're probably losing. It's just all of their permanents generate so much value that it's very, very difficult to keep up. 4th Mind Stone. Okay. And Giganta to hand? Karn. Yeah, we have Casualties of War, but Casualties of War also requires drawing lands. So it's, kind of horrifying, honestly. Paradox Engine hit. Yep. Yeah, we're just, I guess if I draw land and then, nope, can't hit Cry the Carnarium. I mean, I can Thoughtseize the engine. They can then minus Karn. I guess they got an engine from their sideboards. They don't have another engine. They do have an Emery, though. So what I need to do here is exactly Growth Spiral into Black Source. Hit Casualties. Alright, so I guess I can Tail's End the engine, and then they can just get it back. I guess I kill Emery. Alright, this is actually this. We're going to kill Emery here. That's the plan. Plausible we're just dead anyway this turn, but maybe we can stall long enough to get Casualties of War down. Yeah, this really makes me very interested in revisiting my green-black Demonic Pact deck, which basically just plays a bunch of Scavenging Ooze and a bunch of Casualties of War. Along with the Demonic Pact stuff it does. Alright, they get God-Pharaoh's Gift, which is going to start getting them Emery's back. With haste. But they don't have Paradox Engine this turn. Small Mercies. So we can still theoretically beat this by killing it with my Casualties of War. We just need to hit really, really well. Really, really, really well. Well, they have 1 mana left over, which means they got Chromatic Sphere down. Awesome. So we need a black source. We have 2 shots at it with Growth Spiral. Man, even killing Kinnan doesn't do much. I guess they only have Llanowar Werewolves to get back right now. So we need to like be very careful about figuring out. I don't even know what to do. I guess we hit Nissa. Nissa can kill Karn. Cry of the Carnarium. I guess that exiles Kinnan, which gives me a shot. So we're going to have to try for... So I could also hold up Tail's End for their Paradox Engine, kill their Emery now. And they're just activating Kinnan. Which I think still just kind of crushes me. They've also still got this God-Pharaoh's Gift, and they're making 4/4s. I do think I need to Spiral now and hit a land, so I can Casualties next turn, potentially. Tail's End just doesn't do it. I can kill Kinnan. Kinnan comes back. I let them go. They cast Paradox Engine. I can Tail's End the Paradox Engine, but they can just straight up recast it. I think we're just dead here, unfortunately. Alright. Well, that was the Arena Open. Made some gems. Yep. Every single game except the one where we kept 6 lands, it just felt like we just never drew any lands. And that's just variance. Obviously, 29 lands should feel like a lot of lands, but I think if I were to play the deck again, and I really hope they ban Uro so I never have to again, but I think I would build it more like this. Like, give me an Explorer, give me a 30th land. I don't even know what I want the land to be. Maybe just another swamp or something. Cut a Tail's End. Maybe Bloodchief Circe is a scam. Bloodchief Circe was pretty bad all day. Maybe add an Eliminate. Add back a Tail's End. Cut the Casualties. Sideboard maybe looks more like Casualties is decent in theory. It could have bailed me out of that game where very few other cards would have. This Paradox Engine deck